Hey book lovers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mar, and today I'm coming at you from a different angle and also maybe a different level of quality video because I'm filming this on my iPad right now, and my iPad does not have the best camera, but I needed to use my phone for this video because today I am going to be talking to you about my hatred for Goodreads. I'm someone who got started regularly reading again within the past year or so, or I guess 2 years now. When I first started getting into reading and rating books and all of that, like most people, I opened up a Goodreads account and it felt like I got transported back all the way to 2008. Okay, I mean, I think the platform is even older than that, but when I was creating an account, searching up anything on this app or website or whatever, it was not giving. So I decided to start doing research as to some other apps that, other booktubers and all that use to rate and review their favorite books. And as of 2024, when I'm filming this video, I think there are two main apps that people use, or it could just be me. I use both of these apps. I stopped using Goodreads for the past year or so. And the two apps that I use most are Storygraph and Fable. I wanted to just make a video about these two platforms and share my thoughts about them, especially for people who are also sick and hate Goodreads with a passion, and sort of give you some insight of these two apps, what I like about these apps, what I don't like about these apps, and yeah, so for this bookmas video, that's what we're going to do, so let's get into it. So the first platform we're going to get into is Storygraph first. So Storygraph is an app that has been around for, I'm pretty sure it's been the past couple of years. I know a lot of booktubers have transitioned to Storygraph, and this was one of the first platforms I transitioned to after I stopped using Goodreads. I don't know the histories of each of these apps, so I didn't do research into that. These are just the apps I use to track all of my reading and all that. So when you first open up the app, this is the homepage that you're going to see, and pretty much it has a search bar at the top where you can search books, and also it has a bar scanner as well. So if you buy a book physically and you want to import it into your library and all that, all you need to do is click the barcode, allow your camera, and then you can scan the barcode. I don't have a book to scan right now, so but it's really quick and really fast, and it'll import the edition that you're currently reading into your library, which is super cool. So if you have a hardback of a book, then it'll import the hardback into your library. If you have the paperback, it'll import the paperback version into your library. So I would say Storygraph is definitely a more accurate tracker when it comes to data, and especially if you're someone who likes to know how many hardcover books, how many paperbacks you read, how many books you read digitally, the number of pages. If you're someone who loves looking at data like I am, then it's a really cool app for you. So yeah, that's the first thing you'll see, and then you'll see the menu bar and all that. And then the next thing you'll see is what you're currently reading, so all of the books that you're currently reading, and these will show up like this. And then they also let you track the progress of your book. So if you want to track how many pages you're reading or how far you are in every book, then you can easily track your progress. So when you go and click on a book and all that, when you start reading them, or you put currently reading, you just change it to currently reading, and then there's a track progress button, and then here you can change it to either percentage or pages, so whichever you prefer, and then you can always go in, add notes to edit the progress you are making in these books. So it's really, really cool. So actually, yeah, so those are the first things you can see when you first open the app, and then we go down, and then if you want, you can add books to to read pile, so your TBR pile. And then there's recommendations. You have to like click the generate button to get started. I'm not going to do that. And then they also do giveaways on this platform. So a lot of the times it's like EPUBs or just like digital books, and then it depends on your region and where you're located. Sometimes they'll do physical books, but that's mostly for the US. Sometimes for the UK and Canada, but for the most part it's the US, and you can enter any giveaways that you may see fit. And then it has the popular this week category, so like these always change every single time you open the app. So yeah, you can see all of the most popular reads, and pretty much it just gives you some recommendations as to like what most users are reading on this platform, and you know, maybe giving you some recommendations. So that is the homepage, and that's what it looks like. And then at the bottom is more so of like are just other things. So if you click on the pie chart at the bottom, this is where all your reading stats are. So pretty much all of the information of pretty much all the data and all of that for your year. And so like if you turn on streaks or whatever, you can record reading streaks and also set goals. So for mine, I set the goal of 30 pages or 20 minutes of listening every single day. And so the longest streak I had was 93 days. My current streak right now is 8. So, and then you can view your reading wrap-ups and all that. I'm not going to click on it because yeah, because this is just my 2023 reading wrap-up. So, but that's what I also like about this platform, is that you're always getting reading wrap-ups, and you can always see like your month's wrap-up and like graphics and all that. And then on this page you also get to set your reading goal. For my reading goal this year, I set it as 100 books. I hit my reading goal, and I've actually read 112 books this year, so you can always go in and edit it. Just like seeing that my reading goal has been met, so I'm not changing mine. And then if you have the Storygraph Plus account, then like you can see more data and all that. I prefer the standard. I like what it has. Like, I like how the standard is set up. Here you pretty much get to see all of the statistics, all the data and all that. So for me, as of right now when I'm filming this video, I've read 112 books, 35,542 pages, and 245.05 hours of reading. Average time to finish a book, 8 days, give or take. And then moods, apparently I like to read emotional books, lighthearted books, funny books, adventurous books, and then go to mysterious, tense, and dark. So very contrasting books and all that. And then for pace, don't like reading slow books. I usually read medium to fast-paced books. And then page number, usually around the 300 to 500 range. And then next is like the 500 plus range, and then less than 300 is my least. I don't like reading short books, apparently. And then for audiobooks, love reading audiobooks that are anywhere from 8 hours to 15 or 16 hours. And then for audiobooks, I guess I do read or listen to shorter ones. And then fiction, nonfiction, I only read fiction. This next coming year, hopefully I will read some nonfiction and get my brain a bit smarter. My favorite genres: romance, contemporary, young adult, fantasy, mystery, thriller, and then, yeah, and then the other ones. And then for format, I like reading through physical books, I like buying books and all that, but then I am reading more digital books and also listening to more audiobooks. So my digital and audio, pretty even, but I prefer print. And then most read authors, a lot of these authors are my most read just based off of like themed videos I did. So I read the entire Shadow Me series in like 24 hours, so that's why Tahira Mafi is my most read author. And then same with Ali Carter. But truly, yeah, so my most read author is kind of skewed, kind of not. Language, all the books I've read are in English, and then you get to see actually like the number of books, pages, and minutes you read throughout the year with this cool little graph. So looking at my graph, you can see that I was going through it in the months of March and June and September Then we have my average star rating. My average rating for most books is, for the books I've read this year, is 3.93 stars. So almost 4 stars for the books I've read. But yeah, that is sort of the stats and graphs of Storygraph. And personally, I really like Storygraph for this feature. I love looking at data. Then the next tab we have is the community tab. So I only have one friend on Storygraph that I've added, but my friend doesn't use this. So it's just me filling up our feed right now. So if you want to add me on Storygraph, my user is just marwithreads. Last tab we have is just my profile, and so it has what I'm currently reading, what I mainly read, and then what I've read recently, my to be read pile, and then my 5-star reads. And then there's an own book section. I stopped just doing it because I own a lot of books that it just got tiring for me. And then challenges, yeah, have my reading goal. So now let's actually do a review on this book. I just finished How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, so let's get into it. So usually your most recently read books are going to be in your currently reading section, so I just click my little tracking thing. You can also just click on the book and switch to read or anything like that, but I like to just click marked as finished, so marked as finished, okay. And then it'll give you the option to add a review. So for this book, it was funny, it was very lighthearted, and all of that. It was, for me, it was a fast read, so I'm going to put fast. Is it plot or character driven? I would say a mix. Is it strong character development? Yes. Did you find the characters lovable? For me, it was complicated with this book. I loved and hated them. Would you say the cast of characters is diverse? No. Are the flaws of the main characters as the main focus? Yes. And I'm giving this, okay, I'm giving it a 3.75 stars. Not necessarily a 4 yet. I didn't enjoy it that much. This is my book club read, so I decided to read it. I give it a 3.75. I think it was entertaining. I think it was fun to read, but at the same time, the character got on my nerves so much that I was like, you know what? And some things were kind of juvenile and all that in this book, so I was like, okay, you know what? Like, let's give it a 3.75. And usually on Storygraph, I don't do like written reviews or anything. I just like, I like keeping track of just like what I've read throughout the year, or just like I just like the numbers part of it. So if you scroll down, you can see sort of the community reviews and see like what everyone else has put and all that. So a lot of people are very similar. Average rating 3.9, so almost 4 stars. So like, yeah, I would say like also in Storygraph, I would say the average ratings are a bit more accurate than Goodreads. I would say I think Storygraph has more people on here that are actually readers and people who like have more similar opinions, I guess objectively when it comes to a book. Personally for me, I think Storygraph is a great like book review platform for people who are more so like goal-oriented readers, love that sort of data, love to kind of push, love to sort of compare their years of reading and all of that. Like for me, I really like comparing sort of what I read this year to what I read last year, how much more I read, if I read less, what months I read books and all that. Like for me, I look at Storygraph as more of a like self-reflective platform as to sort of my personal reading goals and sort of what I want to accomplish as a reader, rather than a community-based app. With Storygraph, there is a lack of like a community aspect with it. Like obviously there is the community tab, but it's more so for people who already know each other, who all have Storygraph accounts and all of that. It's not necessarily an app where it's like you're commenting on people's posts, you're commenting on other people's reviews and all of that. Like when you post a review on Storygraph, you can't comment on other people's reviews or anything like that. So yeah, it's more so of a personalized platform for yourself, I would say. And so like for me, I know with Storygraph a lot of people don't like the UX, UI design. For me, I think since I've used it for so much, I've just gotten used to it. I've gotten used to how it looks and all that. And again, I think the the look of the app sort of reflects the goals of like the app. It's more so about data. It's more so about your own goals and your own reading journey rather than, you know, a more like fun community based app. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Storygraph. Again, I love using it. I love seeing what I'm reading. I love seeing, you know, sort of like the data. And so that's what I really like about Storygraph. So the next app we have is Fable. And Fable is an app I really only started using this past month or last month. I wouldn't say it's like new. I think it's been out for quite a while. I think it just got picked up and got a lot more traction now because I think everyone on TikTok and all of that has started to download it, and maybe a lot more booktubers as well have gotten, you know, like partnership deals with them and all of that. So yeah, but here is what the app looks like when you first open the app. And so it's very much more like, it feels more like social media, if that makes sense. Like it feels like you're actually like going on like Instagram or whatever, and there's like this timeline feature, and pretty much people are posting reviews of what they thought of books, and you know, it's like also like just other fun bookish things. Like it really feels like I'm on Bookstagram when I'm on here. And the thing with Fable as well, it's not only just a book app, it's also for entertainment. So if you're watching books or if you're watching TV shows and movies and all of that, you can also rate and review the books and movies that you're watching. So that's pretty cool as well. But yeah, this is what you see at the beginning. Or when you first open the app, there's different timelines. There's a For You timeline, there's a books timeline, TV show, and then friends, so people that you've added on this app. I never really change timelines. I usually just go For You. And then you can also search people on the app, and then you also get notifications of like if you post a review on the app or you post like in a book club or whatever and people are reacting to your posts, you can get these notifications and all that. So I'm in the Lore DIY Vlogmas book club, so I've been posting a lot in the club and all of that. So a lot of people have been reacting to my comments of our book. And yeah, so that's what this is what you first see when you open the app. And then similar to a Storygraph, you have your reading streaks and all of that, and sort of the different books you're reading. The layout is a bit different and all of that. And so, and it is also much smaller, which I personally don't like as much. I like how Storygraph, it takes up more of your screen, whereas this one, it doesn't. Like, you really have to, like, you squint really hard to find it. And so, yeah, right now I have a 9-day streak, and so I'm actually gonna put, I read today because I did read this book, and then if you do that, then this notification pops up, oh, I'm on a 10-day reading streak now. Love that for me. And then here you can track progress, and then progress is the same. You can do percentage or pages, and then you can mark as finished, and then update what you've read. And so, yeah, to update it on, like, so you can do this for multiple books. All you need to do is swipe and click I read today. I did not read this book today, so I'm not going to click that. And then, yeah, so that is the main page. You can also create posts. So if you want to rant about something, you can create a post on Fable and all of that really easily. So next, let's move on to clubs. So clubs, you can find clubs that you might want to join. Most of these are book clubs and all of that, and a lot of booktubers and all of that have their own sort of reading clubs and all of that. And then we have my clubs. I have one called Asian American Girly Club. I haven't really done anything because I haven't had time to actually start a book club, so I just really like have it just to save that that name. So if you want me to start a book club on this app where we read like Asian American fantasy, romance books, I would love to do that. I'm in the Fellow Fantasy Lovers one, but for Bookmas, I'm doing the Lore DIY Vlogmas book club. This one, it's a hidden book club, so it's a private book club, so in order to join it, you have to find Lore DIY's link, so it's on her YouTube channel and all that. But pretty much you go in and you can see like how she set it up and all that. She's a moderator, and when you go into these clubs, there's a club lobby, so that's where you introduce yourself. Kickoff is sort of just like another place where you can introduce yourself or sort of show like getting started on reading and all that. And then what I really like about Fable is that everything is chapter by chapter based, so there are chapter by chapter based discussions, and it's almost like a group chat that you're in, and so you can just click into it. So let's go into the prologue, and then you can see everyone's sort of comments on what they think of that specific chapter, and it's nice because, you know, it's all of them are hidden until, you know, you click on them. So it's like if you don't want spoilers for, you know, chapter 6 or whatever, you don't have to click the chapter 6 one until you get there. So that's what I like, and they have it for all the chapters up until the epilogue, and then there's a reflection thing where you can add your rating and all of that. And then, yeah, so that's the book club section. And then explore is just where you can go find books and all that you're reading and all of that. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, so you can, there are many different things when it comes to explore for the book section. So it's like finding your next read. There's giveaways, there's recommendations, there's new releases. If you don't know what in the mood you're to read for, there's a mood quiz that you can take. Then there's popular books by genre, and then there's another like build your TBR thing, and then there's like more book club things. There's just so many different ways you can find different books on Fable, which is what I really like. I've never scrolled this far down, and it just keeps going. So it keeps going. So if you are someone who is always looking to find new books, highly recommend this explore page, to be quite honest. I've actually never scrolled that far down. Anyways, the next thing I have is the library. So pretty much there's different lists where it's like, here's the things you're currently reading, here's what you finished, here's what you didn't finish. So there's reading lists, watch lists, and then ebooks. You can also get ebooks on this app apparently. I've never tried that. And then you can also, like, if you have a Goodreads account and you, like, were using Goodreads as your main sort of thing, then you can import all of your Goodreads lists and all that and reviews into this app. And same thing as Storygraph, you can do that as well. But again, I don't use Goodreads. So one thing about this one is that I downloaded Fable, like, again, only like this last month. And so there's no import option for Storygraph. So Storygraph was my main sort of platform for all my book lists, and there's no import list for Storygraph, so I had to import everything manually, and it took me like 2 weeks to do it because it's just, I got so tired because I had to do my book list and also my reviews. And so yeah, I mean, I had fun doing it, but it just took a long time, so just letting you know there. And then the last tab we have is profile, and I think the profile thing sets it apart from other apps because, again, you can add all of your social media and all that, so your network, you can add your reading goal again, and what I really like is the reader summary. So pretty much it'll take your stats and all the books you read and it'll give you a reader summary. So let's refresh my stats and see. Okay, so it stayed the same, but my current stat right now, and it changes every single time you add a book as well. So my reader summary as of when I'm filming this video is I'm a heartstring tugger. So with a mix of magical love, emotional journeys, and a dash of danger, you'd probably swoon over a love story set in a battlefield. Who knew one could blend so many genres and still root for love to conquer all? And I don't know. I don't know if I would agree with that, but yeah, but sure. Okay, next thing we have are my finished books of the year. So it shows you sort of the numbers of how many books. I don't know why they're showing up as question marks right now. Is it because I'm screen recording, or maybe I need to like update my app? I did not update my app before doing this video, so that could be a glitch on me, but it's never shown up like this. But usually it'll show you the book cover and shows you how many number of books you've read throughout that throughout the year and each month. So very similar to Storygraph again. And then this also has a calendar that shows you your reading streak. My best reading streak when using this app was 24 days in a row. And then most read genres, average rating, again very similar to Storygraph, and then most read authors. So I would say like all the data is the same as Storygraph, but Storygraph just has more numbers and all of that when it comes to like specifics, like how many pages, how many minutes. That is Fable. Let's do a review on Fable, because I would say the reviews are the most fun parts. So usually I would just go to marked as finished, but since this is my book club pick, I'm actually going to go to my book club one. And usually I'd write in each thing, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say leave my rating. What is my overall rating for this book? So I've said 3.75 for storygraph. How did this book make you feel? I would say happy. Like, even though it's not my favorite book, I was still kind of happy reading it. How was the spice? There was quite a bit of spice in this one. And then how would you describe these books? So this is what I like about this, is that you can describe these books and all of that, you know, just by clicking on whatever. So let's say strong relationships. I wouldn't say likable, I wouldn't say relatable. Let's see. I would say, actually no, it wasn't fast-paced. Predictable. Non-linear plot holes, predictable but satisfying rush, steady pacing, uneven pace. Beautiful, dark. Say setting fits the story. And then I would say easy to read, funny, and yeah, I would say that for this book. Yeah, one thing about these categories is sometimes they don't have like the words that I would use to describe this book. And then it got more to say, share your thoughts. Share my thoughts. I will add stuff here. So I'm not going to share my review, but usually, yeah, you can publish and then share with your club and all of that. So that's what I'm going to do and all of that later. So I'm going to stop screen recording because you don't need to see my review for this book. Overall, with like Fable, I really like the setup of Fable. The user experience and all that, and the UI, I think is much more friendly than I would say compared to Storygraph and all that, and it really does have more of a community aspect to it. So every single time I'm on this app, I'm looking at other people's reviews, I'm looking at other people's comments, I'm looking at, you know, more of the community aspect, joining book clubs and all of that on this app. So that's what I really like about it. So if you're someone who, you know, likes a little bit of data but more so wants to do more of the community aspect of reading, then I would highly suggest Fable. And also I think that I like the review, how to review books also on Fable. I think it's really straightforward and it's a bit more fun. And you know, you can see everyone else's reviews, and also you can mark it if there's spoilers and all that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Fable. There are pros and cons for each of these book platforms, but I personally use both. I'm someone who likes using both. I've just gotten into a routine now of going on both. I usually go on Storygraph first and do my reviews, and then I go on to Fable and then do more written reviews and all of that for books. So it really depends on what you're looking for. You can use either one, you can use both like me, or you can continue to use Goodreads, but I seriously don't see the appeal to Goodreads. Hopefully this video was a bit informative and you sort of saw how I use these platforms and all of that, but yeah, feel free to add me. I'm marwithreads on both of them, no spaces, just marwithreads. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next bookmas one.